Big blind is $8. Small blind is $4.
Call.
The miss calls.
I fold.
The miss calls. The gentleman calls.
Fold. Call. Call.
The gentleman calls. Flop.
Check. Check.
Check, check.
I raise. Call. Fold.
The miss calls.
I raise.
Call.
The madam calls.
Check.
I raise.
Call.
The madam calls. River.
I raise.
All in with $340. All in with $340. Split pot.
That's
Give me the
it.
chips.
Move them over. I fold.
The gentleman calls. Flop.
Check.
Check.
I raise.
I fold. Fold. Call.
Turn.
I raise.
Call.
River. All in with $324. The winner takes $1,028.
That's it. Move them over.
The gentleman calls.
Fold. Call.
The madam
I
calls.
fold.
The gentleman calls. Flop.
I raise.
The gentleman calls. The gentleman calls. Turn.
Check.
The madam calls. The gentleman calls.
I raise.
The gentleman calls. The winner takes $377.
Give me the chips.
Big blind is $12. Small blind is $6.
Call. Fold.
I fold.
I fold. Fold.
We've got a winner with $78.
Call. Call.
I fold. I
The
fold.
gentleman calls. Player checks. Flop.
Check. Fold. Fold. I fold.
We've got a winner with $60.
Fold.
I fold.
The madam calls.
Check. Raise.
I raise.
I fold. Call. Check.
We've got a winner with $1,012.
Give me the chips.
The madam calls.
Call.
Check.
Flop.
Check.
Check.
Check. Check.
I raise.
I fold.
The gentleman calls.
I fold.
The winner takes $450. Big blind is $16. Small blind is $8. The madam
I
calls.
fold.
I fold.
The gentleman calls.
Raise.
I fold.
Check.
Check. I raise.
Fold.
We've got a winner with $290.
I fold. I fold.
The gentleman calls. The miss calls.
I raise.
The miss
I
calls.
fold. Fold.
I raise. I raise.
I fold.
The miss calls. We've got a winner with $795.
Give me the chips.
The gentleman calls. The madam calls.
Call.
The gentleman calls.
I raise.
I fold.
The miss calls. The miss calls.
Check. Check. I raise. I fold. I fold. I raise.
The miss calls. River.
I raise. I raise.
The madam calls. We've got a winner with $1,816.
The chips.
The gentleman calls. The gentleman calls.
Call.
The gentleman calls. The madam calls. The miss calls.
Check. I raise. I fold.
I fold.
I fold.
I fold.
I raise.
The madam calls.
I fold.
The
Give
winner
me
takes
chips.
$714. Big blind is $20. Small blind is $10. The gentleman calls. The miss calls.
Fold.
The miss calls.
I fold.
The madam calls. Flop.
I raise.
I fold.
The miss calls. The gentleman
I
calls.
fold.
Turn.
I raise.
The gentleman calls. River.
I raise.
All in with $483.
I fold.
All in with $614. We've got a winner with $1,689.
Call.
The gentleman calls. The madam calls.
Fold.
The miss calls. The madam calls. The miss calls. The gentleman calls. Flop. Player checks.
Check. I raise. I raise. I fold.
I fold.
I
The
fold.
miss calls. Turn. All in with $714. We've got a winner with $1,269.
That's it. Move him over.
Fold.
I fold.
I fold.
I raise. I fold. I raise.
The gentleman calls. All in with $1,629. We've got a winner with $544.
Give me the chips. I fold.
I fold. I fold.
The miss calls.
I raise.
Fold. I fold.
We've got a winner with $226. Big blind is $30. Small blind is $15.
I fold.
I fold.
The madam calls.
Fold.
The gentleman calls. Flop.
Check.
I
I
fold.
raise.
The winner
That's it.
takes $359.
I fold.
I fold.
The gentleman madam calls.
Call.
The gentleman calls. Flop.
I raise. I fold.
Turn.
Check.
River.
I raise.
Split pot.
That's it. Move him over.
The gentleman
I
calls.
fold.
Fold.
The madam calls.
I raise.
I fold.
The winner
Give me the
takes
chips.
$160. The miss calls.
Fold. I fold.
I fold.
The madam calls.
I raise.
I fold.
River. We've got a winner with $363.
Give me the chips.
Big blind is $50. Small blind is $25.
Fold. I fold.
The miss calls. The gentleman calls.
Check.
I fold.
I fold. I fold.
The winner takes $470.
I fold.
The miss calls.
I fold.
The miss calls.
I raise.
Fold.
I raise.
The madam calls. Miss calls. Turn.
I raise. I raise.
The miss calls. River.
I raise.
The madam calls. The winner takes $3,587.
Chips. I fold.
The gentleman calls. The madam calls.
Call. Check. Check.
I fold.
Fold. I fold. I fold.
The winner takes $300. All in with $437. The madam calls.
Fold.
All in with $180. Turn. River. The winner takes $1,079.
Give me the chips.
Big blind is $100. Small blind is $50.
I raise. I fold.
The gentleman calls. Flop. All in with $3,118. Turn. We've got a winner with $3,861.
Move him over.
The gentleman calls.
Check. I fold.
I fold.
We've got a winner with $400. The madam calls. Flop.
Check.
Check. Check.
The gentleman calls. River.
I raise.
All in with $929. The winner takes $2,250. The madam calls. All in with $358. The gentleman calls.
Fold.
Turn. River. We've got a winner with $816. Big blind is $150. The gentleman calls. Flop.
I fold.
The winner takes $450. Player checks.
Check. I fold.
The winner takes $450. The gentleman calls.
Check.
Flop.
I raise.
The winner takes $740. The madam calls. The madam calls. Flop. The madam calls. The madam calls. We've got a winner with $3,180. Big blind is $200.
I raise.
The gentleman calls. All in with $900. The gentleman calls. The winner takes $1,984.